question is, are you ready?
What do you guys want to talk about?
Let me talk to you. Yeah.
Throwdown Nation, what is going on? We are live on a Wednesday night. We are rolling on Instagram, on YouTube, on Twitter/X, on Facebook, and on Twitch. It is episode 222 of the Throwdown, the community on the interwebs where we celebrate the art and sport of professional wrestling with a strong focus on the indies. I'm your host, Matt, and today we are throwing down with a wrestler based in the great state of Florida, but much more than just a wrestler. She's a mom, a wife, a cybersecurity aficionado, a wine enthusiast, and so much more. She is also the better half of my friend and previous guest on the Throwdown, Keikoa, the head coach at House of Champions in Orlando. My friends, welcome with me, Sammi Pandora. How you doing?
Hey, how's it going? Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Like I said before we went on the air, I've definitely been looking forward to this one. And for those of you watching live, let me direct your attention to the ticker that's running on the bottom of the screen. That contains all, or at least most, of Sammy's social media accounts along with mine. So do us a favor, if you aren't following or subscribed, take the time and go to each of them and do so. It definitely helps both of us. And if any questions or comments come up, just throw them in the chat and we'll either handle them as we go or do a little Q&A at the end. So obviously we're going to be kind of going all over the place during this conversation, but we'll start with the first and the most obvious question, and that is, how long have you been wrestling?
Oh gosh, I started training, I think 2012. I want to say 2012, I think was when I started training. I started wrestling after school in 2013. So I think we're going on, we'll say like 13 years, but I took about 5 years off to have a family and stuff like that. So let's go for like maybe an 8-year career of actually working, you know.
Gotcha. So who actually trained you?
Yeah, so there was a school up in Pennsylvania called Backbreakers. I don't know if there's still a school. I'd have to check, but I was trained by Justin Glory and some of the students there in the Scranton area. Again, I don't know if there's still a school, but it was 2012, so that's where I got trained.
Gotcha. In the very early stages of your wrestling training, what would you say was the most challenging aspect of professional wrestling for you to kind of wrap your mind and body around?
Taking bumps was always going to be the hardest to wrap my mind around, because you're trying to train your body to hurt itself, to hurt itself, but also take a safe bump. And there was different ways to take certain bumps. So I remember just freaking my brain would just freak out whenever I had to like hit the mat a certain way, whether it be a
Right.
flip one or a back one. That just messed with my mind so much of like my body wanted to protect itself while I'm trying to hurt
Right.
it.
Right. And a lot, I've never done professional wrestling training, but I've done other martial arts. And there is so much that is counterintuitive to the human survival instinct that you have to literally unlearn some of your most basic instincts.
It goes against everything the body actually wants to do. It's like, why are you
Right.
trying to hurt me? And I'm like, it's just for the fun of the game.
Yeah.
Like, it's for the fun.
Yeah, just tell your body, get used to it. You'll enjoy it.
Yeah, after a while, it might not hurt as bad.
Yeah. So, coming into professional wrestling training, did you have a previous athletic or other type of martial arts background? Had you done other sports before wrestling?
No, not really. The most sports that I had done was softball, and I didn't care for softball. Like it was not something I wanted to do. So that was the most sports thing I had ever done, other than working out here and there. Like when I got into professional wrestling training, I didn't know anything about any kind of like sports. Like I didn't do basketball, I didn't do like nothing of that. So that was just a complete like retraining my body into everything because we had to do cardio, we had to do actual intense workouts, and my body was not ready for any of that. It's much better now, I would say, but back then it was not a good time for me.
Gotcha. So, I'm presuming, just based on the fact that this is the typical answer I've gotten from the majority of people that I've been on the show, but I'm presuming you've been at least a fan of professional wrestling the majority of your life. Is that pretty accurate?
Yeah, absolutely. My earliest memories is when I was like 5, which was about 1997. Me and my brother would sneak down and watch wrestling against, I think one of my earliest memories I could recall was when actually, and I don't remember the year, um, was when Stone Cold Steve Austin had Vince McMahon in the hospital, and he was a nurse and he
Oh,
hit him with
yes.
the bedpan. Like I had been
Yes.
watching for a little bit, but that's one of the core memories I will always remember as a child and just laughing so hard. But yes, I had definitely started watching during the Attitude Era, and it just stuck with me. Me and my brother used to always just like play fight. Like I guess play fight, we would actually beat each other up, but
Yeah.
and like it never went away, and even at that age I knew it was something I wanted to do, and it never settled for me. Like I just knew like if I didn't do this I would be so unsatisfied with my life if I didn't try.
Gotcha. So, what was the first live show you ever attended as a fan?
I remember it being a SmackDown show. It wasn't until I was, gosh, I want to say 18, 19 years old that I finally got to go to my first show. Um, and I distinctly remember it was when Rusev started debuting, and I think this was a house show. I don't even think it was an actual SmackDown show. It was a SmackDown Superstars, but I think it was just a house show. I distinctly remember Rusev being there, and I think he might have went against Justin Gabriel when he was signed, at the in the company at the time. Um, that was one of my distinct memories, and it was just so crazy to sit into the audience, and especially at my age. Like at that point, I'm a teenager about to be an adult, and still enjoying the feeling of watching the show as I did when I was a
Mm-hmm.
kid. And now I get to experience it live with the fans, and it was an amazing experience.
Yeah. My My first live show, I was actually in college, and I went to college up in Northwest Georgia. The closest city of any size was Chattanooga, Tennessee, and some buddies of mine from my dorm in college and I went down to the UTC, the University of Tennessee Chattanooga arena, and actually were in the audience for a WCW pay-per-view. The It was Halloween Havoc 1990, I think, or it was 90 or 91, and it was I'd been watching wrestling forever, but I hadn't had the chance to go to a live show, and it really does bring just a whole other dimension, actually being there and feeling the crowd and that kind of thing.
Absolutely. And then you get to be a part of the crowd at that point too. You get to cheer and
Yeah,
just like lose who you are in that moment and just enjoy the show.
yeah, yeah. And in 1998, I actually had the privilege of being in the Georgia Dome when Bill Goldberg went over on Hogan.
Oh,
And with Goldberg being an Atlanta guy, I have never heard a roar that loud. I mean, the energy in that building was insane.
I can only imagine. Being around even during that time, I would say before social media,
Hmm.
taking off when you're really probably like living in the moment.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. So, how did you and Keikoa meet? What's the story? I got to hear it.
Um, so we had met, and I always make fun of him for this when we talk about this because I remember us meeting multiple times backstage at shows, shaking hands, saying hello, and he laughs because he doesn't remember some of these moments, and I'm just like, how dare you forget? Like I remember meeting you at these shows. But the big moment for us was I was at a sanctuary show, and it was probably 2014. And
Okay.
I was just going through a year, we'll call it that. I was going through a year of, I hadn't been in the business very long, but as a woman, I had been put through a lot of stuff, I would say, during those probably 2 years I was already on the independent scene. And even wrestling, there's not a lot of great matches, I would say, for myself. And I was already debating. I was like, is this really for me? Like, I did all this work and I'm doing all this and I'm not even happy. Like, I come to the shows to help, and then I'm in the ring and I'm sometimes facing people and I'm just not happy. Like, it was just some of the matches I was having just weren't good. And it was a couple times in a row. It kept happening and happening, happening. I was feeling this, and then I was at our sanctuary show, and same thing. I just came back, and I really was at that point now where I'm just like, I'm not having any good matches. I'm training, and we're just not. I don't know. Maybe we're not vibing or whatever was going on, back then. But I just remember sitting down in a corner and debating, already quitting. I was pretty much already done. I was also dealing with some of my own like personal issues that year, some like heartbreaks of my own, and just all of it coming at me at once, and just sitting there and be like, I don't think I want to do this. Like, I'm not happy, and if I'm not happy, why am I going to keep going on? And he came over to me seeing that I was depressed in a corner, and just started talking to me. He just started doing whatever he had to do just to make me laugh. Like, he wasn't even trying to make me stay around the business. He was just trying to make me happy and make me smile because I was this like little puppy in the corner, like crying basically. And that was our moment, just us having this like private kind of moment in a corner of me being just depressed and sad, and realizing that I still had a couple more matches I had to finish out, and realizing he was also on those shows. And we realized, like, all right, like, why don't like I was up north, and a lot of these shows were down south. And so we were just talking of like, how about I just drive to you? We can drive together to these shows. And just doing all of that, we just became closer. I would say like we were really good friends just those couple weeks of us realizing we had the same shows and talking, jamming out to music, getting to know each other. And at one point, once our shows like kind of stopped, like I didn't want it to end. Like I felt like I had met like my best friend doing this. And I
Right.
think in a sense he had also. So we just kind of like I just kept coming over. I just kept going over to his house. And after that, like I guess you could see what happened. We ended up getting together like maybe 5 months later after continuously driving together, hanging out together, and me realizing like, no, I think I have feelings for you, and we just kind of like came together, and now here we
Yep.
are. Gosh, oh my gosh, how many years? Actually, oh my gosh, today is our 11th year dating anniversary. We just texted each other 10 minutes ago. Today is the day he asked me to be his girlfriend 11 years ago. No, he said 11 years ago. That's 12 years ago. Wait, no, he was
Well,
right. I'm sorry, 11 years ago.
what cool synergy. I mean,
I can't even believe that. He just texted me too about it. I was like, I can't believe we forgot it. Yes, April 29th, 2015 is when he asked me to actually be his girlfriend. So, yeah, 11 years.
nice.
And I'm
Nice.
spending it with you. How great for all of us.
Hey. Yeah. So, so away from wrestling and all of that, what are some of your other hobbies and interests? What do you like to do with whatever spare time you might have? I know you don't have a lot, but
Yeah, I don't have a lot, but I also don't mind that because I don't know what to do if I have spare time. I enjoy being pretty busy. Um, I always love going to see my friends and just everything. Like I if I have to sit down and do nothing, I don't know, that'll probably drive me a little crazy a little bit. But some of my favorite stuff, if anyone actually follows me, they know like I love reading. Like I have books all around. Like you guys can't see it, but it's my backdrop all over here is it's just all books. I just love reading. I love getting lost in different kind of worlds. Um,
hmm
and when I'm not like reading, we're big, we're Disney adults all the way through. So if we can get to Disney, we are always there. We are always going. I actually just came from Disney. I hit Animal Kingdom today, flew back here so I can get ready for the podcast. But yes, if I'm not reading, I love to go to Disney. Um, Work out maybe, but of course it's not my favorite thing to do, but it is on the list of things to do. But those are, and also as you see, you said my wine enthusiast. I love going to the local places. We live in a nice cute downtown area. If I can go to any new shops, any new things that have new foods, new wines that I can try, that's where you'll find me. Like I just enjoy anything outside the world that's new. Like any new book I can read, love it. Any new wine I can try, love it. Give it to me. I want to try it.
gotcha, gotcha. So tell us a bit about your wine enthusiasm. What kind of got you into wine, and what is your wine of choice?
Um, so when I first started drinking wines, I was much more of a sweet kind of person. I love the sweeter wines. Until I realized like down the line through some testing and stuff, I I couldn't always drink those. The doctor was saying like my happens to be my family genes. We'll just say that my family genes. I couldn't be like drinking a lot of these other things, and I had to drink something that's a little bit more heart healthy, you could say. They told me to lean towards more red wines, Cabernets, and things like that. Which at the time that was such a big change for me. So after all these years, though, of making the switch, that is all I drink. I love red wines. I rarely drink a white wine. I don't really drink rosés. Even champagnes. I used to be okay with champagne, but after a while, I started realizing it just didn't go well. I got headaches. So I just completely switched out of champagnes. So I am 100% more of a Cabernet person. And it's been fun figuring out my palate because I have tried wines from California, France, Italy. And as of right now, I would say my top one that sits with me is France wines. The France red
Hmm.
wines tend to go well with me. I don't get headaches or anything like that. So that has been kind of my journey so far. And I tend to like to keep going because it is fun to also learn about it's just grapes at the end of the day and how they like deal with these grapes. And I love talking to some of the people at these lounges or wine bars that I go to, and we just like get to know each other and they tell me like how these things are created and they'll give me samples and I'm
All
like
the
they're like
science behind
the
it. Yeah.
science behind it, they're like, do you taste that smokiness? I'm like, I don't know if I taste the smokiness, but I taste wine. So I'm still
Yeah.
learning myself. Like it's such a science behind it, but it's fun to learn 100%.
Oh, for sure. My wife is a Merlot girl.
Okay,
I
that's
have
good.
never been able to pick up a taste for the red wines. Um, I don't drink a lot of wine, but I have a tendency to really like Moscato.
Okay,
Um, so
those I think a Moscato is, I want to say it's like the sweeter kind. Isn't that a white wine? Yeah,
it is,
people
yeah,
who red wines are hard to get into. I'm not gonna lie when I'm with people because they're drier. They are
yeah,
some of these red, unless it's a sweet red wine, but some of the red wines are they're drier and they're a little
right.
bit more complex. So I understand why people like they don't lean towards them. I think it's only because my doctor suggested it to me and then I started tasting all of them that I kind of adjusted to it. So now that's the only thing I can drink.
Gotcha, gotcha.
Yeah.
So, we're obviously mostly a wrestling centric show, but we do dabble a little bit into pop culture, and I'm always looking for recommendations. So, I'm a huge reader myself. So, by any chance, are you reading or have you read anything really cool recently?
Oh my gosh. Let me see what I can pull out here. Oh my gosh. Yes, I have. One. I just read this one. This is a fantasy book called Quicksilver, and I have like loved that book. It's a big fantasy, but a lot. So I will say a lot of the books I read, there is a female main character. So if that's not the thing for somebody, my recommendations might not be the top one. I did enjoy that one because it was like the characterization in it. I didn't I didn't hate the characters I was supposed to like. Let me say that. I that's tough I think with some authors. I didn't hate the character that I was supposed to like. But there is one book that I say like now that we're halfway almost halfway through the year. And this is Shield of Spares. I think they're actually making this into a Netflix movie. That has been my absolute favorite book of the entire year. And it just happens to be about a woman who has to travel across the sea. She is actually forced to marry somebody due to a treaty. And along the lines, as she's finding herself, like she found out the person she married wasn't who she expected to be, and she has to like also figure out an entire like disease that's going across the country. There is a war that's about to happen. A lot of mythical creatures, which is something that is great for me. I love world building. It
Hmm.
depends on my moods. If I'm looking fantasy, I want like world building. I don't want something that like it seems like we're just in Florida. We're
Right.
just a book in Florida. No, I want a really developed female character, the main character, so I can get into the book, and I want the journey to build on their character, kind of just like wrestling in itself too. Like when we're watching storylines and these characters that we get so attached to, we want to see them grow. And that
Yep.
is something that attaches me to books. If the character is the same character that they were at the front to the end of the book, I was like, well, then why did we read this book? Why did we
Yep.
watch the storyline? Like nothing
Yep.
progressed. They didn't become a better person. They didn't become a worse person. But why did we read it then?
Yep. You want to see the lore. You want to see the evolution. Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's what draws me to books as much as like wrestling and storylines. I feel like some of the best storylines going back to like wrestling that we have probably watched has all been storyline based. Some of them haven't probably even been based on the wrestling aspect themselves. Like they
Right.
probably weren't like the most physical matches. It was just leading up to it. You know that these two people were going to have like a huge match just because the emotions involved in it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And this is really a kind of a perfect segue into the next question, and that is, they say that the best wrestling personas are usually yourself turned up to 1,000. So, kind of tell us about in-ring Sammi Pandora and kind of compare and contrast her with everyday you.
So yeah, I do think that's true because I think Sammy Pandora is me, but she gets to go out there and be the open person that maybe I'm not. I'm not a sometimes like this big extravagant person, but when I get to be Sammy Pandora, I get to be that person who gets to just open up and like try to do everything she can to make the fans excited to be where they're at. So that was always my characterization. I loved Greek mythology for a long time. That's where I got the Pandora name from. And Pandora's box is my finisher. I love being able to integrate things that I love into who I am and into my name. So that character was always she was always supposed to be a fan favorite, which is usually what I'm doing when I go to some promotions, back maybe like a decade ago. And it was because I liked the idea of again the Greek mythology of this woman who I know when she was created, she wasn't the most popular person, but she had to overcome a lot of things. She had these things like the box and she had these powers and stuff like that. And that's what I wanted to integrate into my character is like there's always going to be a struggle. There's always going to be a hard time in our lives, but we can't let it consume ourselves. We can't let what's out there consume us. So that was kind of what I was going for with the character is no matter what's going on in my character, be it storyline, that I'm always going to come out and try to do my best for them. And that the fans are the ones, as long as, they're behind me and stuff, that I'm going to give them everything that I can for them.
Gotcha. So, if you can narrow it down over the time that you've been doing this, what is your favorite match that you have been a part of?
That's tough. My favorite match. Well, okay, so a match that I will always go back to. I did get to I had the honor of facing Mickey James back in I want to say 2016.
Oh,
That
she's amazing.
yeah, that was an amazing match to me because she was so easy to work with. Like at that point, gosh, how long she had probably been working like 14 years and maybe 10 of them were on TV dealing with that kind of like high stress schedule that she was dealing with. Um, it was so easy. Like I tell that to people, it's like I was so nervous going into this match, but it was so easy because like she knew everything she had to do. Like camera wise, working wise, like everything. Like we didn't even have to call a lot of stuff because once we got out there, um, I knew I had to listen to her. Because obviously just being a vet herself, but also being in WWE and even TNA and everything, like I just knew she knew what she was doing, so I trusted her 100%. So I think just because of that, we were able to go out and have like a good match, and I went into it not having to worry. When you go into a match not having to worry about anything, I feel like that takes such a load off your shoulders. knowing that like I know this person has me, and I know they're not gonna
Yeah.
do anything that's gonna hurt me. Like it was such a big trust in her that we were able to go out and I think have just a great match. And that
I'm
was one
I'm
of my
I'm
favorite matches.
I'm sure that had to be very freeing. I
hmm
mean,
It can be when you go into a match not having to worry, because there are matches where like you're having like almost an anxiety attack going out for some
right.
matches. And so we're not having to worry at all. Like that was nice.
Oh, for sure, for sure. So, I'm sure over the years you've definitely picked up some of these, but what is your biggest wrestling related pet peeve?
Hmm. Pet peeve. Um, a pet peeve actually of mine, hopefully I didn't just do it, is I hate sometimes trying to call something with somebody and they're trying to tell me something that their trainer from 5 years ago told them. And I'm like, well,
Oh,
that might not work in this aspect of the match we're calling. Or they try to bring up a celebrity or a name that they worked 10 years ago. And they're like, well, this person said we should do it this way. I'm like, okay, well, this is a different match. Every match is different. Um, So the match that you had with this person might have worked then, but now maybe it doesn't work. So when I would work certain people and we were trying to call things and they would start name calling or name dropping, um, I would assume to maybe push the match into a certain way. That would be my pet peeve, just because I'm like, well, does it make sense though? Are you just trying to say that they would do it some way? And I was like, do you have them on the phone? Can we go over this with them? Do you think it works? Like, I I think that every match is different. Every story is different. So when we're calling something and you're saying, well, my trainer or my person or this celebrity who you worked with a couple years ago would have done it this way. I'm like, are you sure? Are you sure they would have done it this way? Because every match has a different story, every ending, like everything has a piece, and if you're just dealing with this one little piece, you can't just stick that little piece in every single match and think it's going to make sense. So
right.
I just always remember that being kind of my little pet peeve of sometimes people, I guess, trying to um bring up maybe things that they thought made sense because of like a thing that their trainer said a while ago.
Gotcha. So, we were talking a little bit before we went on the air, and you are about to be finishing your degree in cybersecurity. So, what got you interested in cybersecurity, and what do you hope to do within the realm of cybersecurity?
So I'd always been into technology, like for years now. When I've been in any job that I've been at, like people would come to me to ask for help for certain things with their computers, and it just never occurred to me to like follow something like that. Like it just never occurred to me because I was just so used to being like, well, I have my job. Now I have to see how far I can get with it. So it wasn't until somebody else I knew was about to start college, and I started looking into it too because I already had a degree. I already have a degree in just general like sciences and things like that. And I started thinking about it. I was like, well, why not? Like I'm in my 30s now, but why not? Like it won't take that long. And as I started like looking into it and studying it a little bit more, it just really caught my interest into things I was already doing sometimes in my own job. And I just really wanted to create a life for my family. At the end of the day, that's all I think about is my daughters and my husband, and just being able to go into a career, have a job that maybe we might not have to worry. Maybe I could get a good job that we like, maybe he doesn't even have to like have a full-time job or something like that. Which would never happen. He loves working at the Hawk. So that would probably
Yeah,
never happen. But it's an option. Um
right.
it was just always a thought for me, and at the time I was like, I don't even kind of like what I'm doing. And being able to like study more and delve into the topic of cybersecurity and seeing all the careers like that evolve from it, because there's so many different jobs out there for it, that I was just so interested and I wanted to learn all of it. So yeah, that was where I was at. I was like, it was really just like I want to have a better career, and I'm already dealing with technology on a basis, for everything I've been doing. It's almost like a small jump from, because I work in healthcare, from this to like this.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So, kind of back to the wrestling topic for a bit. Do you have an all-time favorite match as a fan? Is there a match that is near and dear to your heart that you find yourself kind of circling back to from time to time?
Oh, absolutely. So this is probably an obvious one for a lot of people. I love watching Lita versus Trish from 2004 when they main evented Raw in December. Um, that was just, at that time, it was huge. Not women didn't get the main event at all.
Right.
And you had two women like Lita and Trish who had been feuding at that time for 4 years on and off. And this, I think the reason people love that so much is just because of their story. Again, like Lita and Trish were the best of friends or the worst of enemies. And anytime they got to finally clash in the ring, it was always just so emotional. And you just wanted to see them beat each other up. You just wanted to see it. So when they finally got to do that, like, I will still go back and watch that match because it was one of my favorites. I still love it to today. The second one, and again, I think a lot of people love this one too, is Bailey versus Sasha. I
Mm-hmm.
forget which NXT pay-per-view it was, but when Bailey finally won the title, that match was just amazing from start to
Yep.
end. And just again, when you go into it, the reason was just the story. It was 100%. You finally wanted Bailey to have her moment. It was such like a grueling match, and just so, again, so different from what we watched, like say Trish versus Lita in 2004. It's such a different match all these
Mm-hmm.
years later. So different, but they stole the show. And
And
like
and
now you
when
still watch it.
two people have that kind of chemistry together,
Mhm.
it's magic. I
It
mean,
was, and it was, man, it was almost like, man, that should have been the main event. When you were watching it and you think back to it, like, oh my gosh. And that's crazy to think about because it was just a normal match. The next match was a ladder match. I think that was Kevin Owens versus Finn Balor. I want to say, I could get it wrong, but it was a ladder match. A men's ladder match was the next match after that, and the women still stole the show, I think. And that just goes to show, like you said, like when you had that chemistry that Sasha and Bailey had, because they did it again
yep,
in the 30-minute women's match. It was amazing. I love going back and
yep,
watching that match.
absolutely. So, are you consuming a lot of the current product? I mean, are you watching wrestling on an ongoing basis, or kind of here and there?
I do try. I do try at least to watch as much as I can. And usually Monday nights are a little bit easier for me. I with Keikoa's training schedule, it's a little bit easier sometimes to watch like SmackDown some nights, but I do like watching Raw, and I tend to like watch all of the matches, but I have always been just a obviously a women's wrestler all around round. So I always try to see what the women's storylines are going through, and they're always great. I always love watching them. Um, I know right now we have what Liv Morgan and Stephanie Vacar, and that was such a great build up between that and then WrestleMania. I do wish their WrestleMania match was a little bit longer, but
Yeah,
to each their own.
I won't argue that.
Yeah, I do like because when we were going into, I'm sorry, keep touching my hair. When we were going into that, it felt like it was going to be one of those like matches that was like maybe 15 minutes long, and obviously didn't go that long. And I was like, that's a little disappointing. But I'm glad the next night we did. We still had some great women's matches all around. So I do try to stay up on the product. It's usually always going to be the women's matches though, because I just want to see
Right,
what their storylines are going and like what's like elevating right now, who's being called up, so I can kind of like keep track of that.
right, right. Well, the reason that I asked that is at the and this is one of these questions that can literally change hour to hour, day to day, week to week. But at this very moment, in your opinion, who are the best male and best female wrestlers in the business? Who's the best man and who's the best woman?
Hmm. Yeah, that's always going to be hard. There's so many good ones. Uh,
Yeah,
a personal favorite of mine is always going to be Io Sky. I love watching Io Sky, no matter what
yeah,
storyline she's involved in, what match, whether she's heel, face. Like I enjoy everything that she does, and even though I think you can kind of sometimes feel that there's like a little language barrier, it
right.
doesn't take away from the story whatsoever. Like when she's on the mic, when she's in the ring, I think watching her, I say, is like it's beautiful. I love watching her work. It's some of the most beautiful wrestling I've ever seen. Men, that's just hard, man. That is really hard. One of my favorites, I guess, and we're not. I know we're talking like who's the best, but I think it's still like maybe Finn Balor. I love watching Finn Balor. I between what he does with his monster gimmick or just being Finn Balor, it just seems
Yeah,
like they are just two different people that he pulls off. Like when he
yeah.
comes out as the Fiend, and is it the Fiend? Is he the Fiend?
The demon, the
The
demon.
demon, I'm sorry, yes, the
Yeah,
demon. And it's just two different people and you can see it. And it's crazy how he could just make that switch. And I
yep.
think that alone is just the characterization in it. Um, just puts him right up there at the top. And even Seth Rollins, like, there's no debate on that, but just watching him come out as a heel or face with all his outfits, and you can get
Oh
behind
yeah,
him with whatever he's doing. Like he can make you just hate him and then just love him the next week. And I think
yep.
that's amazing work to do when and I think anyone could agree in wrestling, it's hard to sometimes be a baby face or a heel. So if someone who can come out and do both effortlessly, that's amazing.
That's a God-given gift. I
Yes,
mean,
if you can do both, so easy.
yeah, yeah. You know, I was, I was actually thinking about this the other day. I wonder how long it takes Finn Balor to get painted up as the demon. That's got to take a while. I
That's a
mean,
thought I've always had because it's on his back, it's on his front, it's on his face. And
yeah,
I can only imagine having to sit in the chair that long. And me especially, I get anxious before matches. So I can't imagine sitting in a chair getting ready for a match when all I want to do is go over the match. Like that's
right,
gotta be tough.
right. So, and this can be past or present. Who would be a dream opponent? Who would you love to have the opportunity to get in a ring with?
For the women, I would love to get in the ring again with Mickey James just to see how I've come. It was 10 years ago that I faced her, so I would love to just to have another match with her just to see how I've changed. Um, Lita, of course, she was my
Hmm.
inspiration coming in to wrestling. She was when I was growing up just a game changer. She was just different, and you felt it. And I would have always loved to have a match with her. Men, I guess if we're gonna go into like intergender wrestling, Shawn Michaels every day. Shawn Michaels. Um, he was always been one of my favorites. He is just the number one entertainer. Like when they called him Mr. WrestleMania, there's a reason because he
Yep.
stole the show, and he did. He stole the show. I'm trying to think of any indie work. There's so many indie workers I would love to see. My friend Dream Girl Ellie. I would love to work with her again, maybe sometime soon. Any woman at the Hawk, any man too, but any woman at the Hawk. I've seen what they're training and how they're doing, and just seeing their work ethic, and I can just see how great they're going to be, and I would love to be able to share the ring with them, and the early stages of their career before they take off, because I could see them taking off. So
Yeah.
anyone at the Hawk, honestly.
That's awesome. So, what is your favorite move? What is something you just really enjoy doing? And on the flip side of that, is there a move that you won't do or you would at least rather not do, and that can be giving or receiving?
So my favorite move, and just because it's Lita, I think the moonsault. Anybody, I feel, and you can always watch how different competitors do it. Because when you watch Lita, Charlotte Flair, Tiffany Stratton, they all do the moonsault, but it's just different. And
Mm-hmm.
I love that. I love the moonsault. I wish I could do it. I don't think I've ever actually hit it myself. But I think that would be one of my favorite moves. I also, let's see, I also love a side Russian leg sweep.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those moves that, like, when you do it, sometimes you'll just get a pop, and it's great because you're like, it's such a basic move. It
Yep.
was one of my favorites, because when I learned it early in my career and I added it a couple times to my move set, it would get pops, and I was like, it's so basic. It's such an easy move, and people loved it. Um, a move I wouldn't take, and I still don't really take it. Only if it's somebody's like finisher, I will take it because it's their finisher and I want to respect them. Is the butterfly suplex. I had broken my nose during a butterfly suplex. I don't know how. I'd have to go back maybe if they saw the footage. I don't know how. But it's one of those moves that since then it's been very difficult for me. Again, like a couple years after I faced someone and it was their finisher, and I was like, I'm going to do it because it's your finisher, but it's gonna scare me the entire time because I just remember the pain I felt when I had like busted my nose open and the pain that went with it. So, and other when I say that to some people, they're just like, "Really, a butterfly?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you'd be surprised." Some of the
Yeah.
simplest moves are the ones people don't want to take because it's what they got hurt on.
Yep. You were talking about the side Russian leg sweep and just the simplicity of it, yet the fact that the crowd loves it. I'm a sucker personally for a good spine buster. I grew up watching Arn Anderson, and and nobody does the spine buster like Double A.
Like
I
him.
mean,
Yes, it is. It is.
um,
I will agree. I do love the spine buster. And again, that's another move that, depending on the person, it can look different.
yeah,
Just one move, and the person makes it different.
absolutely, absolutely. So, you've been doing this long enough that I'm sure this applies to one degree or another. So I'll ask you what hurts right now.
It's funny. It's funny because I had texted this to my friends and my family yesterday because I have the questions before, and
Hmm.
I literally put in the comment everything.
Yeah.
Everything hurts,
What
and I
maybe
don't know if
what
it's
what doesn't hurt?
and I don't know if it's wrestling involved, being a mother involved, I don't know if it all combines, but everything kind of hurts at some point. But we'll always say my back. My back's always gonna hurt. I'm sure everyone can feel that. They can always feel it in their back. I will say my back is always just, it's that is what it is after all these years. And my ankle, actually, one of my first wrestling injuries was I got thrown, simple, super simple. I got thrown out of the ring, twisted my ankle, rolled it when I got out, and fractured it. Just because we were
Mm.
doing and we were just learning how to get thrown safely out of the ring. So I guess I didn't learn my lesson. Got thrown out and I fractured my ankle. And because of that, it was my left ankle. I used to always kick with my right foot. And because of that, now I can't. So I kick with my left foot because I can't stomp with my left foot anymore because my ankle still will sometimes hurt.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I had to change a little bit about when I wrestled was when I would call things, I'd be like, it's coming with my left. And I'm like, nope, sorry, it's coming with my no, actually it was coming with my right. Now I have to come with my left sometimes. Just because my ankle, just the fracture, it bothers me from time to time and I don't want to like re-fracture it or re-injure it. So I just kind of had to change how I worked a little bit. So sometimes, yeah, sometimes my ankle will still just bother me from time to time.
Got you. Got you. So that incident that you were talking about, where you fractured the ankle, would you say that is the worst bump you have taken, or have you taken a worse bump?
That one was the worst because it took me out for probably at least a month or two because I actually had to
Mm-hmm.
get it examined. I had to go to physical therapy for it because of the fracture. Another one that hurt, but it didn't take me out, was I was going for a suicide dive, which I really don't
Mm-hmm.
do anymore unless it's my husband. There are certain moves I won't take, I'll be honest, unless it's with him because I trust him.
Right.
Um, a suicide dive. I went to go out and I just plopped, fell, went through the ropes, fell. My entire rib cage just hit the side of the ring, and it was the most extreme pain. I thought I broke all my ribs, and I just laid there, and it was pretty bad because I was supposed to get back into the ring and finish the match. I was supposed to, I think, either take the pin or give the pin, but I was on the ground with my teammates being like, "I'm not getting in, brother. I can't get in." Uh,
Yep.
just laying on the ground, and that was the most instant pain I had felt, and yeah, that was probably the most painful at the time. But my fracture for sure is the one that took me out the longest.
Gotcha. So, knowing everything you know at this point in your life, if you could give any advice to your younger self, what would it be?
To be kinder to myself, um, and that goes for younger wrestlers now. I think when I was 19, 20, I was not just, I wasn't friendly to myself. I was like, you need to get signed, you need to do this, like I was my own worst enemy at that time. And to stop rushing, um,
Yeah.
to stop rushing. I am gonna be 34 soon, and I have never felt more in tune with who I am now at 34 compared to 20. So I would love for them to realize that don't rush it. Please don't rush it. Enjoy the journey. Like not too many people are always going to get called up or signed at 20, 21, 22, and just to enjoy the journey. Um and to again, please be so kind to yourself because
Absolutely.
you are going through a struggle, and I think other people are looking up to you while you're sometimes going through this internal struggle. There are people who are looking at you like, wow, they are so amazing while you're having the worst day ever. And I would like to tell that to anybody to please be kind to yourself. You're not too fat, you're not too skinny, you're not too small, you're not too big. You're absolutely perfect where you are right now, and life
Yep.
is going to take you where you need to go. And I say
Yep.
that because I wish I was nicer to myself. I know I was very hard on myself. And I think about that now. I think about who I was 14 years ago, and I wish I was kinder to her.
looking over at the Instagram chat, Chris Page from CCP Podcasting just popped in and said to tell you a quick hello and that he thinks you're just such a fantastic person. So
Oh, thank you so much,
I
Chris.
love Chris to death. I mean, Chris is good people.
Yes, I love watching the CCP stuff. I think you guys just had a show the other night, and I was watching the clips because everyone posts everything on social media, so I was going through it, and I love what you're
Right.
doing for the company and for everyone nearby. The more shows that students can get on or just new upcomers can get on, it's fantastic. So thank you, Chris.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you were talking about the difference between yourself at 20 and yourself at 34. And I'm dealing now with myself at 34 and myself now at 56. And yeah, I mean, the evolutions throughout life are just crazy. But I so completely agree with you about giving yourself grace. I mean, you summed it up perfectly, saying we can all be our own worst enemy and our own worst critic. But you've got to give yourself grace because the world, for the most part, certainly isn't going to. And you can and you know bloom where you're planted.
Hmm.
So that's
And sometimes the world doesn't even see the struggle you're going through.
right,
So sometimes we are
right,
so hard on ourselves, and the world doesn't see it. So we could be
right.
just so hard on ourselves. And I'm like, you don't realize how sometimes you light up somebody's world because you're being so hard
Yep.
on yourself. And that's why I'm like, I wish sometimes you guys or everyone can look in the mirror and just find something about themselves that they like, because there is something about you that's likable. Everything, everybody. And if you ever need help, to please seek it, because I know we all go through mental health, mental issues, and that's not something to be scared of. And I think we all should be able to be open to talk to somebody if we're going through a
Ab-
battle.
Absolutely. So, do you have any pre-show traditions? Any things you try to do consistently before you walk through the curtain?
Yeah. So at least recently, I tried to listen to some like relaxation tapes. I'll go on YouTube, and some of them are like hypnosis ones or just ASMR ones, just something to calm my mind down. So I do try to listen to some of them before I go out to calm myself. Because I am an anxious person. I am very, very anxious, and my anxiety has won over way too much in my life. So that is a good way for me to kind of calm the anxiety down, to kind of like think of other things. So that is my like pre-show. If I can try to get around to, which I usually can, just pop my headphones in, listen to something, do some deep breathing before I go out, and that's something that's kind of like helped me to not like, I guess, over scare myself before I go out.
Gotcha, gotcha. So, something that we've done in all of these that's just been kind of fun is we've let the current guest pose a question for the next guest. So, one of my previous guests is a wrestler based out of North Carolina by the name of Elliot Shock. And the question that he posed is, wrestling is a roller coaster, highest of highs, lowest of lows. During the low times, what keeps you inspired?
Um, so since I'm a mom, my kids keep me inspired. I am always just thinking of things for them. So the Disney trips, or just finding things for us to do as a family because I want to make memories with them, like beach days or just having a picnic out back. So that's something that when, I'm not thinking of wrestling, is what can I do for my kids to give them, the best life that I think is possible, the happiest life that I think is possible, is just fun events to do around. And to not think about wrestling. When wrestling is down, I think it's great. Like it's gonna happen in wrestling. So what is motivating you other than wrestling? It's finding something other than wrestling to keep you going.
Yep, yep. So, since this is part of a series, do you have a question you would like to pose to the next guest?
Yes. And it kind of goes into the same thing we were just talking about. If wrestling was to end today, tomorrow there's no more wrestling, what would you do?
Hmm.
What are you going to do with your life? I would like to know what their plans are. Like I I think that's always important to have because wrestling is it's important to everybody obviously on this podcast. It is such integral into our lives, but it might not always be there. So, like
Right.
what is something that would you would love if wrestling wasn't in the question? If wrestling was gone, what would you do?
Gotcha. Gotcha. You know, I would ask you to answer that, but you've already answered it
Yeah.
during the course of this conversation. You have so many cool irons in the fire. I mean, I have gotten such a kick out of this conversation because it has just gone so many cool directions.
I'm glad too, because I there's so many things I find I love now that I'm not that I'm getting older. I'm just growing up, maturing in different ways, and I'm finding things that I love. I love going. I like I said, I love reading. I love going to Disney. I love going to the beach. Like there's so many other things I'm finding out that I love because when I was younger, that's what everyone was telling me. Some of the sign people to WWE, TNA, like they were telling me, like, please find a hobby. Please find something other than wrestling to keep you going. And I did. And it makes me happy to know that whenever I decide to call it quits, that I will be satisfied with what I did to the business and that there's something else calling me. You know, that there
Yep.
is still something calling me and that I won't be depressed. I won't be sad to finally hang up my boots when it's time.
Absolutely. So we're pretty much at the end of things now. So do you have any upcoming shows or anything at all that you'd like to give some hype to?
Yes, I would love to. Now I don't know if it's going to be this month, maybe next month, but the House of Champions, the Hawk, is going to be having its first ever women's ladder match, which I will be involved in. My first ever ladder
Nice.
match. I'm very excited for it. So that might be this month. I don't want to say for sure because you know sub card is always subject to change in
Yep.
wrestling. So that could be something that's coming this month. If not, maybe June or July. But that is one of my matches that I'm most looking forward to coming up in hopefully the next month or two. And also the new
Nice.
building. As soon as I can get the new address, we can at least put the address in there so you guys know where to go to see it.
Nice. Nice. So what can you tell us about the new building?
It's beautiful. I stopped at it today before I came for the podcast. It's such an expansion. The previous building was amazing, and I thank Stephanie, the owner, for allowing the Hawk to run there for so long, allowing me to go there to work as well. The new building is just them expanding. It was growing. It's a growing business.
Yep.
And it's just it when you walk in there, you can see it because as I walked in, it was just room, 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 room. There was just so much more that you can see is coming. There is like two rings. They have two rings set up, one for training, one for show days. And I don't know how often you kind of see that, but there's offices, there's workout equipment. Like it's just such a big expansion. And I'm just so happy for them. And I
Nice.
just can't wait to see well, like what else comes. And this business has only been around for I think 2 years. So I can't imagine, the next 5 or 10.
Oh, that's man. That just um, knowing Renee and Jamie and Kakoa and everybody else, man. Hard work pays off, and
Hmm.
just being good people pays off too.
It
And
is. I'm just so glad they all found each other. It just
yeah,
sometimes it just works. The right minds find each other, and now they're all building this company together. And again, I'm also like just so thankful for Renee and Jamie, because without them for having to start this, like there would be no House of Champions. And
Yep.
just see what it's becoming. Like I'm so thankful for them. I'm thankful for them because it's bringing more eyes to wrestling in different aspects. I'm sure you've seen like they have the kids camp, they have
Yep.
like kids shows. Like we are having kids come in to be able to just live their dreams. Like I think we all could agree when we were young, we wished we had something like that when we were kids to go
Oh,
to.
for
Like
sure.
instead of like, I don't know, just doing nothing after school, like you have now a wrestling school you could be going to and having fun at.
Yep. Yep. Well, as far as what we've got coming up on the Throwdown, this Sunday, May the 3rd, 1 p.m. Eastern, which is 12 p.m. Central, we're actually having a rescheduled episode 221, and our guest is actually a tag team based out in Texas, Wrestling's Most Wanted, composed of Xavier Gotti and Marcelo Fuego. And then this coming Wednesday, uh, May the 6th, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central, we've got episode 224, and our guest is another Texas-based wrestler, Ryan Days. Definitely looking forward to having those two guys on, or the team and the guy. And I'm actually at this point booked through the month of May and starting to take bookings into June. So I'm basically kind of on a rolling about 6 weeks out as far as bookings for the show goes, and having a complete blast doing it. And
Okay.
doing these, I've met some of the coolest people, and I definitely rank you among them. So thank you for your time, Sammy. This has been awesome.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I had a great time. This is one of the best podcasts I've gotten to do. I've enjoyed our time.
Well, thank you. And for those of you that have been watching this live, thank you. For those of you that'll be seeing this on replays and such, thank you for that. If you like what we've got going here, definitely, do the old like, comment, share, and subscribe. And until Sunday afternoon at 1 p.m. Eastern with Wrestling's Most Wanted, be good to each other, love each other, and let's keep throwing down.